yang tidak dipahami oleh laki-laki adalah cara mengungkapkan bahwa mereka membutuhkan itu.
It's so hard for men to be vulnerable and to be open. Sementara dari perempuan perspektif kayak ngomong aja.
Ya tapi perempuan juga kadang ngomong aja mau apa gitu. Oh, gue tuh cita-cita pengen beli kapal, pick up the girls and just be with me. And then I realized I actually have a fucking boat now gitu. My boat's my house and the girls my wife. Jadi seorang laki-laki terkadang kita merasa bahwa kita harus menjadi superhero di segala aspek. Yang padahal nggak ada yang minta bantuan loh. Because the idea of being a man is scary.
What's scary? Hi, yes.
Hi Zola.
How are you?
I'm good. It feels weird to be on the other side.
I know.
Yeah,
Gantian.
gantian.
How are you really?
I'm really good. I'm really good.
Oh, nice.
I started walking lately. Lots of walking. Jadi quick, 5 kilometer walk and then swimming and then that's how I start my day. So for 10:30, I'm good. I'm really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know 1 o'clock. I don't know 2 o'clock. And maybe I get sleepy. Tapi yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. So for all
How
the
are you?
guests,
Sorry.
thank you. Oh, I'm great. Busy matching people.
Still?
Masih dong.
Yeah.
People needs love.
Yeah.
you know.
True.
Jadi all of the guys in here selalu pasti akan main card.
Yeah,
But
I've
thank
seen
you
it.
for coming though.
Of course. So,
Gantian.
do I open one?
Oh iya.
Ini
Jadi,
di
wait.
paling atas atau?
Enggak aku maunya diginiin dulu.
Oke.
Silahkan.
Oke. Lo mau sulap atau enggak deh?
Enggak usah.
Enggak usah. Oh wow. What
So-
would do I read it now?
Oh yeah, of course.
What would be your ideal relationship? Ooh. I think I'm doing it right now.
Tell me
Yeah.
more.
I think my relationship with ini berarti berpasangan kan,
Ya.
Indira gitu bersama Indira tuh, it's very ideal karena we've been together for very long time, coming to 12 to be exact.
Okay.
We've only been married for almost 2, tapi totally at 12. I was just thinking about this gitu. Apakah hubungan kita ideal gitu setelah 12 tahun gitu. And we still kiss each other goodnight, still kiss each other good morning. It's very ideal if you think of Hollywood. Ya kan? Kayak that's how they portray it.
Yeah.
It's very ideal that she still asks even before I go off to work, she asks, when are you coming back? Gitu. Itu kan that's ideal gitu. That's also Hollywood gitu. Karena I do realize beberapa pasangan yang setelah 5 tahun gitu, setelah even in the early 3 years gitu, they couldn't be bothered of like, I don't want to spend a lot of time together gitu. And we did spend a lot of time together before we got married. Jadi that for me is very ideal. I tell people that gitu, bahwa you need to spend a lot of time together before tying the knot gitu. Get to know the person. So the ideal relationship for me is that you know her 100% or not 90%. She knows me 90%. And we understand each other without even talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jadi ketika gue 10%, dia 90%. Ketika dia 2%, gue 98% gitu. That's very ideal. And we talk about it. So yeah, that's
So there's no 50-50 in relationship, right?
no. Apparently, is that true? Is that not? Yeah, kan?
Of course not. There's no such
Yeah, kan?
thing
There's
as
no such thing, kan?
50-50 in
Yeah.
relationship.
But what do you do when it's 2020?
That's why you need to communicate, right?
Got
There
it,
is
yeah.
sometimes we
Yeah.
don't have enough time and we don't have any
Yeah.
energy kan.
Yeah.
Jadi ya that's we need to communicate.
Yeah.
Gitu loh. Pastilah dua-duanya kan pasti ada hidup ups and downs,
Iya.
belum bad mood, belum perempuan hormon.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know better, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That was
Tadang
last
your
week.
attitude. See?
Gitu. Again?
Again.
Oh, again.
3.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with your family? Are you close? Very close. Family berarti ya ibu, adik 2 gitu. My dad passed away 2018.
Sorry
So
to
I'm
hear that.
it's fine. So I'm assuming he's out of the picture kan berarti.
Yeah,
2018.
yeah.
So my mother, very close. I call her almost every day, just to check up on her. My brother, who is 2009, berarti berapa tuh? 16? Is that 16, 17? I'm bad at math. Somewhere along the lines.
Me too.
I call him almost every day as well. My sister, on the other hand, is a grown-ass woman. 26. Jadi she doesn't like being called every day. So I text her every day, almost every day.
So yang pertama ya?
Yang pertama. So I like to check up on people. My sister, she texts me when she's in trouble. Bukan trouble, cuman kayak lagi ngeluh kerjaan. She would text me and say, "Hey, do you have time to call?" I say, "Yeah, sure, of course. I'll get rid of everything and just you and me gitu." Cuman I'd love to spend more time with her actually. Yeah.
Okay. So you're such a family person.
I think so. I think so.
Okay, last one.
Last one. Oh my God. Have you ever dated someone you were not attracted to? Why? Yes, sadly. I've had some
What was that?
I think look, my dating career obviously ended when I met Indira 12 years ago. Before that I had some fun times in my life. I don't know, takut dia nonton, tapi I did date somebody that I wasn't attracted to. Twice actually. The first one was because I felt bad.
Okay.
Karena there's a term for this. I don't know what it is. Tapi I've heard it a lot. When you give somebody a lot, okay, lots of love. Apa sih? Lots of gifts, lots of
love
affection.
Bombing?
Is that yeah, love bombing.
Okay.
Yeah. What's love bombing?
Love bombing is actually you give everything like, excessive gift. What's affirmation, terus udah gitu promises, I love you so much, whatever.
Okay.
Tapi in a way nantinya itu lebih ke cuman untuk ngedapetin aja. After that it just lead into toxic relationship.
Oh no, so it wasn't love bombing.
Okay.
But she gave everything.
Okay.
She gave everything.
Okay.
She gave me gifts on my birthday. I never gave gifts on her birthday because we were friends. Like it was just weird. Okay, why do you? So then I realized that she was, asking for more. I was like, okay, let's date. But that only lasted for 3 months, I think.
Okay.
I had to cut it off karena I just didn't feel it.
Right.
So I did that because she wanted to. I think the second one was I was attracted to her. And then suddenly she became a very different person. And then it became unattractive to me.
Okay.
She dressed up differently. She talked differently. It was I don't know what switch was that. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I didn't sign up for this.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
What a way to start.
I know, right?
I should do this in my podcast.
Okay, next time, Brett.
Yeah.
So who are you really? Yes, Lawrence.
Who am I?
Yeah. Who are you really? Without your titles.
I'm preparing myself for this question because I know you ask people this question. Without my career, without my job gitu. Karena people tend to introduce themselves with their job kan. I always say that I'm a brother, I'm a son, and I'm a husband. And that's how I introduce myself, and that's how I want to be known for. That's it, full stop gitu. Okay. I don't think that I should say that I was previously a journalist for a global company. I don't think I should say I'm a podcaster. Karena that's my job. That's what I do. That's how I make money. But who am I really? I'm also a father of 2 dogs and 16 cats and 1 rabbit. Cuman I prioritize that: a brother, a son, and a husband. Who are you?
Look at this. I'm Zola. Not a matchmaker.
Yeah, kan?
Iya kan? Orang kadang suka to attach with the title, terus lupa dia siapa gitu, with the job. I'm a matchmaker, I'm a CEO, terus udah gitu lupa.
Yeah, I like how who are you when you sleep gitu? When you sleep, who are you? Yeah, I'm a husband. I'm not a podcaster. Yeah, kan? I'm just a normal bloke.
Okay, so you said about son and then brother and then a husband.
Yeah,
right?
Betul.
It's a man gitu. I'm curious actually, man perspective about relationship.
Siap.
Love, relationship gitu.
Yeah.
What do you think sih? What's your thoughts on that? Kayak what men actually want in relationship?
That's interesting. I think kita terlalu menggeneralisasi dua kubu, yaitu perempuan dan laki-laki kan.
Yeah.
Let's go back to I think yang lebih fundamental gitu. Apa yang dibutuhkan seorang manusia? Yang dibutuhkan seorang manusia kan pada akhirnya adalah ya lo butuh makan, lo butuh atap, lo butuh baju, lo butuh kasih sayang gitu. No matter if you're a woman or a man. Men tend to not be able. Men needs that the same exact thing as a woman gitu. Comfort, love, peace, and so on gitu. Just like what a woman needs. Yang tidak dipahami oleh laki-laki adalah cara mengungkapkan bahwa mereka membutuhkan itu.
Okay.
They do
Why is
not.
that?
I don't know. Well, we were raised to be macho. You know, we were raised to
Yeah.
be masculine. We were raised to. We were raised to hunt food. I mean, mankind was made to,
Breadwinner.
yeah, the breadwinner
Yeah.
gitu. I did this. Ada satu forum di Makna Talks gitu. We did this setiap Lebaran, setiap Ramadan gitu. Ada bulan Ramadan. Terus there was one girl that asked gitu, why I forgot what it is. Cuman something along the lines of why is it so difficult to become woman gitu. Why is it so difficult to become a woman in Indonesia gitu. And I was thinking about that question for days gitu. Historically, if we talk about mankind, laki-laki yang berburu, perempuan yang masak dan provide di rumahnya gitu. Kalau dari sisi sejarah gitu, kalau dari sisi konstitusi, all rules, if you realize semua peraturan yang ada gitu was actually made by men, ya kan?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
people in the government was men. Women only started voted, few years ago.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about being in the office gitu, the ratio and everything. I would rather be in a company or a country that's ruled by women gitu. Itu akan pasti lebih rapi gitu. I would assume. Tapi the truth is it's not. So selalu di-run oleh laki-laki. So we were forced to work. We were forced to pretend that everything's okay. Padahal balik lagi tadi pertanyaan lo di awal adalah are you okay gitu misalnya. When you're home with that stress, you need to talk it out. You need to tell bahwa I need help gitu. Dan I'm a very touchy person. Jadi being hugged is nice gitu. Nah, gue bisa menyampaikan itu ke pasangan gue gitu. Banyak orang di luar sana laki-laki terutama nggak bisa menyampaikan itu. Gengsi. I don't know where that comes from. Mungkin balik lagi tadi gitu, kita merasa bahwa kita bisa segalanya. But in relationships again, I see that men need the same thing or almost the same thing, tapi tidak pandai mengkomunikasikannya sih. Is that true? Is that not? You're an expert at this.
Yeah. I mean like there's a lot of things yang orang terutama perempuan. Okay. Ini based on my experience ya.
Yeah.
Dari perempuan tuh selalu bilang kalau okay, I want man that's man enough.
Yeah.
What's man
What's
enough?
man enough?
What's man enough? Like for you, what's man enough actually? Man is just a man, right?
Yeah.
What's man is enough gitu.
Yeah, I can stop a train for you, I'll die gitu. I can't.
Iya kan?
Iya.
Jadi what man is enough gitu loh. Kayak oh, ya masa cowok lembek atau masa cowok nangis. Tapi lupa cowok itu juga manusia loh.
Betul. Iya. Tapi yang disayangkan adalah sesama cowok pun nggak bisa mengeluarkan perasaannya.
Iya.
Cowok tuh lebih gampang mengungkapkan perasaannya ke seorang perempuan kan? This bothers me gitu. Why can't my boys gitu, my friends say that they're traumatized by their childhood atau apa gitu. Kenapa kita sesama cowok nggak bisa ngomongin itu sih?
Oh, interesting. Because
Yeah.
I thought
Oh
like,
no.
oh okay, I
No.
thought okay.
At least in
Dikirain
my case,
sementara
enggak.
cowok tuh aku kira lebih banyak open gitu, talking about everything, about sex, about semuanya gitu.
Oh, we love
But
talking
I
about
know.
sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapi like semuanya gitu. Ternyata enggak ya,
Enggak.
enggak se-open itu. Why is that? Because of
I don't know.
the stigma, the
Stigma.
masculinity?
I think so ya. I think so. Because I have a bunch of friend groups gitu, dan I like to talk about many things obviously because of my job and it.
Okay.
Tapi banyak sekali yang tidak keluar dari mereka soal ya nggak usah ke ranah pribadi deh kayak keluarga atau apa gitu. Even financially gitu. Hey, you don't talk to us about hey, you need help like talk to me about it gitu. Nggak tahu rasa they're just not made to be vulnerable I guess sesama laki-laki gitu.
Okay. What
Yeah.
about you? Are you open to be
I'm
vulnerable?
open. I'm open. Well, me saying that I have a best friend. Her name is Niza gitu. Seorang
Mm.
perempuan juga. So
Mm.
I'm very open to her.
Mm.
Um, I'm open to my boys gitu. Cuman kadang gue open untuk nge-trigger mereka cerita juga gitu.
Mm.
But yeah, we always find a reason. Perbedaannya tuh perempuan suka gini nih. Gue ada cerita, ngumpul yuk, ya kan? Atau gue mau cerita sesuatu, datang yuk gitu. Kalau laki tuh kayak wanna grab a beer,
Mm.
kayak
Mm.
or kayak poker night, kayak jadi kita harus ada aktivitas dulu baru kayak bukan ketujuannya juga, what I mean.
Okay.
So I like to hold game nights, poker nights, beer nights in
Mm-hmm.
the house gitu.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where boys just talk. Tapi ya the wife's upstairs, so we can't talk a lot about anything.
Okay. Tapi for you,
Yeah.
vulnerability itu apa sih? What for you tuh lebih apa sih arti vulnerability? This
Hmm.
is in the context of relationship ya.
Yeah. Nggak nutupin kalau lagi capek, nggak nutupin kalau lagi
Hmm.
kalau hati nggak enak gitu.
Hmm.
Nggak ditutupin gitu, nggak pura-pura kalau ada sesuatu yang.
Hmm.
Because I learned this bahwa kebalikan dari sedih itu bukan kebahagiaan ternyata kan.
Hmm.
Because if you're sad, like what makes me happy is going surfing gitu. I love just being in the water, surfing. That's my jam gitu ever since I was a kid. Kalau gue sedih dulu sempat ada fasenya bokap karena lagi sakit kanker gitu. I would drive all the way to Cimaja 6 hours dulu belum ada tol itu. Just go surfing for like 6 hours terus nyupir balik lagi gitu. So I would spend 24 hours just doing what I love. I'll come back home, see my dad, I'll be sad again gitu. Jadi ya kebalikan dari sedih itu bukan kebahagiaan karena kebahagiaan itu sementara.
Okay.
Kebalikan dari sedih itu adalah kan damai ya. Bahkan ketika ada sesuatu yang sedih lo bisa nge-overcome hal itu dengan merasa bahwa everything's gonna be okay. Like,
Okay.
I'm calm, I'm in peace gitu.
Okay.
Jadi gue menyadari bahwa being vulnerable is actually berdamai dengan sesuatu yang sangat sulit. Berdamai dengan cara gimana gue nggak overly sad, nggak overly emotional gitu. Jadi secukupnya aja gitu. That's how I feel. And being able to communicate it with the person that you're with gitu. I can't imagine kalau ada di sebuah hubungan yang lo nggak bisa mengungkapkan perasaan gitu. I know a lot of people do that gitu.
Ya, in my circle juga banyak.
Jadi sangat disayangkan dan pada akhirnya akan ada waktu di mana you know what, you do you, I do me, done, bye gitu kan.
Grew apart.
Iya.
Okay.
I don't think I can live in a world where I'm alone gitu sih. Gitu.
Nah, kalau misalnya ngomongin express emotion, it's so hard for men to be vulnerable and to be open. Sementara dari perempuan perspektif kayak ngomong aja, tapi kan nggak segampang itu ya.
Oh. Ya tapi perempuan juga kadang ngomong aja mau apa gitu. Oh, you should deal with my wife when she's on her GoFood. Kayak, what do you wanna eat? Tapi perutnya udah just talk. She can talk about her feelings all day. She can't decide what to eat. That's I wish itu.
Iya, jadi kalau misalnya ngomongin tentang cowok tuh susah untuk express their feeling gitu ya. Is that because of how they grew up in the family?
Maybe.
Yeah, and then the ideas of you're not man enough,
Yeah.
cowok harus tough, cowok harus kuat.
What's another reason tapi selain mereka di brought up di keluarga yang tidak komunikatif?
Tapi
Ada alasan lain
balik-balik
nggak
lagi,
sih?
nggak, balik-balik lagi cuman karena as
Biasa kan?
simple as the patriarchy system as well.
Iya.
Juga
Iya.
itu karena itu. So majority of the people they're in a patriarchy system karena patriarchy itu kan sebenarnya juga nggak nguntungin buat laki-laki gitu
Betul.
loh, patriarchy gitu
Iya.
kan. Tapi buat mereka biasanya yang mereka berada di that environment, egonya mereka jauh lebih tinggi dan melihat perempuan itu adalah di bawahnya mereka. That's what I know.
I
in
like
terms
to
of
differ tapi.
Yeah.
Karena I grew up in a very patriarchy
Okay.
family. Not a family. My father was she loved his woman. He loved his woman gitu.
Okay.
I couldn't last a day going out with him without him looking around gitu.
Okay.
Dan I remember this is his template. This is his template. And I kid you not, jangan diikutin. Cuman, can I ask for the bill please? And then the waiter would come kan. And then he would say, "Are you sure you don't want anything else?" This is what he says all the time. Nothing unless you have a sister. Which I find really, really funny as a kid gitu.
Yeah.
And I wasn't raised in a family of, no, you should treat women right. Apa segala macam. Well, my dad treated my mother like a queen. Like a fucking queen. Kayak, there was no day where there wasn't fresh flowers. I tell you that.
Oh.
On birthdays, anniversaries, anything you call it gitu. On days that didn't even matter, there was flowers gitu. He always opened the door apa segala macam. Tapi outside, he was a different person gitu. He wanted to show bahwa I'm a man gitu. Gue bisa genit juga gitu. So I was raised in that kind of family. So yes, I did learn love, relationship, and how two individuals can be together gitu. Tapi gue juga melihat bahwa ada sosok laki-laki yang genit di luar yang merendahkan perempuan gitu. Obviously, that stick to me when I was young. I wanted to be like him. So I started dating a lot of people.
Right.
I started, I was love bombing as you said gitu. When I get it, I'm done. Apa segala macam. There was a phase like that. Cuman gue belajar lebih banyak tentang laki-laki justru dari kesalahan bokap gue.
What have you learned?
I learned that sorry, let me rephrase. I learned more about women dari kesalahan bokap gue.
Okay.
Karena gue menyadari bahwa setiap bokap gue bilang yang tadi, yang unless you have a little sister, I would laugh at my dad. But did I even think of seeing her reaction of how scared she is?
Okay.
And when I did, kayak, oh ya, kasihan juga ya. And how my sister di sebelah kayak, oh shut up, gitu. Kayak, oh yeah, I shouldn't just see this perspective, tapi I should see this two other perspective gitu, bahwa mereka nggak suka digituin gitu. My dad was a very touchy person with his friends, apa segala macam. I became touchy as well, cuman gue menyadari bahwa ternyata ada batas yang nggak boleh disentuh juga gitu.
Okay.
I thought because I grew up in a very modern family lah, karena my dad's from the UK and everything. Taking pictures of holding the what do you call it, waist gitu. It's normal as a kid gitu. Gue dari kecil gue selalu like it's normal. I don't feel anything. It's just normal taking picture gitu. Tapi gue baru sadar ternyata ketika dewasa, bahkan kayak baru kerja gitu. Oh, some people don't like to be touched there. Kayak, I don't know what to do with my hands gitu. So banyak hal yang gue pelajarin juga sih dari kesalahan-kesalahan itu.
Okay. So berarti you grew up in the family environment atau your family dynamic, ada yang patriarki, ada yang ini, and then you see from both side gitu. That makes you become rebel. You're rebellious,
Something.
right?
Yeah, I think well, I was rebellious in many ways gitu. There's lots of ideologies in the family yang gue pada akhirnya kayaknya gue nggak gitu deh. Gue nggak gini deh. Terutama di ranah pendidikan juga gitu. Like my dad wanted me to study law. I said, fuck you, I'm not doing that gitu. I'm doing arts. I love arts. Tapi I should have listened to him. Kayak I should have became a lawyer. Kayak banyak hal yang gue sesalin.
You're not a lawyer now.
Iya, banyak hal yang gue sesalin gitu. Cuman, I turned out to be quite rebellious. But as a big brother gitu, anak pertama, you can't be too rebellious in a family. Karena banyak yang disadari bahwa, oh shit, like my brothers look up to me. My sister looks up to me. I don't wanna screw it up gitu.
What changed? Iyas yang dulu sama Iyas yang sekarang in terms of not only life but relationship.
Itu my best friends would talk about this. There's this term of manosphere, if you know manosphere. Manosphere is obviously like patriarki dan dia harus apa yang kita bahas aja dari tadi. Laki-laki harus nge-provide, dia perempuan hanya di situ untuk masak, untuk menemani dan and so on. Dan manosphere juga memberikan ideologi bahwa laki-laki bisa punya lebih dari satu perempuan, tapi perempuan itu harus sama satu laki-laki itu. And that's going on in the internet for quite a while now by lots of figures out there, especially in the US gitu. I'm not saying I was in that era gitu, tapi back then I used to have a dream gitu, bahwa my dream is just to be with a lot of girls in a boat gitu. Kayak I used to say this bahwa gue tuh cita-cita pengen beli kapal, terus kayak pick up the girls and just be with me and those girls. And then I realized I actually have a fucking boat now gitu. My boat's my house and the girl's my wife. That's more than enough gitu.
With a different character and personality, right?
Itu dan itu yang sangat berubah gitu. I dated a lot of women in my life, mostly older. I never dated somebody my
Why
age.
do you like older?
I tried to figure it out. I don't know.
So your wife is older than you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I first dated. Well, this was one of my quote unquote serious relationship. I was back in, I think I was 16 or something like that. I was 16. I say serious karena she was like 20 or 21.
Oh, 5 years.
5 years
5,
difference.
6,
Tapi
okay.
it's not only the age gap.
Okay.
I was 16. You know what I mean?
Underage.
Yeah, I was underage gitu. She was over a minor. Jadi that was one of my first relationships yang benar-benar lasted a year. We went out together segala macam, and I think sejak itu I was into older women. I was never into younger. And there was a phase in my life since you asked about yang merubahkan yes dalam hubungan dulu dan sekarang adalah dulu tuh gue merasa bahwa gue harus mendapatkan seseorang untuk dapat kredibilitas dari orang lain. So there was like the hottest girl in the school. I was like, I'm gonna get that girl,
right,
so that everybody can say, "Oh, wow, you got her," gitu. Validation gitu.
Yeah.
Now, well, obviously I'm married, cuman that doesn't matter as much gitu sih. I learned to just listen to myself other than other people. Itu yang berubah banget.
Nah, kalau misalnya tadi you're talking about first child ya.
Yeah.
Anak pertama nih.
Yeah.
How does it feel untuk jadi anak pertama? Karena kan biasanya anak
You're
pertama
a middle
itu
child,
kan.
I forgot to ask. You're a middle child atau anak
I'm
pertama?
the only one.
You're the only one.
Anak tunggal, semua ada di sana. The rebels, semuanya di sana.
How does it feel to be an oldest child, brother?
Yeah, the oldest child.
It didn't really matter until my dad died, I think. So I didn't really care about being the oldest, middle, or the youngest gitu. Obviously, the oldest selalu akan dimarahin.
Okay.
Yang tengah sih sebetulnya. Cuman yang paling tua selalu menjadi apa ya? Ya lo sih, adik lo jadi gini gitu. Pasti ada itu. Atau ya tanggung jawabnya pasti lebih besar. But that didn't really matter sampai akhirnya bokap meninggal gitu. Karena bokap meninggal kan my brother was 9 gitu. Jadi gue di situ dikasih kayak tongkat estafet gitu, kayak now you run the family gitu. You're the man of the house. Nah di situ baru kayak oh shit. I had a very difficult time karena gue tuh bingung memproses bagaimana cara membelah peran menjadi seorang kakak pada saat itu, menjadi seorang ayah tanda kutip, harus menggantikan bokap, dan peran sebagai pacar yang baik yang bisa membagi waktu juga gitu. So I had a difficult time. So it was at that age it was very very stressful and depressing sih.
Okay. Dan ada nggak tuntutan, let's say misalnya kayak sometimes in relationship couples either a woman or a man, mereka expect kalau pasangannya itu harus jadi semuanya. Have to be a father, have to be a mother, have to be a sister. All of the burden itu ada di situ. Pernah ada di experience itu nggak? Yang akhirnya kayak, kok kenapa semuanya dari gue ya? Gitu.
Ya itu si momen itu. Balik lagi kita di dua. I think that was the age of 23 or 24 gitu. Pasangan gue nggak menuntut gue untuk menjadi, all in one package.
Okay.
All she wanted, I remember this. All she wanted was lo hadir aja. Lo ada aja. Jadi when I text you, text me back. Bukan, gue gak minta secepat mungkin. I'm not that type of person. Just tell me what you're up to. Tell me about your feelings. What are you doing gitu. Di otak gue adalah, oh, lu pengen banget sama gue mulu gitu. Kayak, padahal enggak. She just wanted to know, are you okay? Am I okay? Gitu. Adik gue on the other hand butuh seorang temen. So I was like always acting like I'm fun. Karena gue gak mau dia sedih karena bokapnya udah gak ada. So I was always acting like I'm fun. To my mother, she was always crying. Jadi I was always a guardian to her. Kayak, everything's gonna be okay. Jadi to my sister, she was also depressed karena she was the closest to my father gitu. I was like a psikolog ke dia gitu. Kayak take a deep breath, apa segala macam, her panic attacks, apa. So, gue merasa everything was, burden, it was all to me, di tahun itu. And I remember I just went surfing so many times. Karena balik lagi, karena what makes me happy is surfing kan.
I
Jadi
see.
gue langsung ke Batu Karas lah, gue surfing, gue balik lagi. Oh shit, pas pulang ke rumah kayak, oh this again, that again, kayak
Jadi kayak
something's not right.
pelarian nggak sih?
Pelarian terus gitu. Jadi gue lari, mereka ngejar kayak, but yeah, and apparently everything was in my head. My sister turns out to be okay when I'm not there.
Okay.
My girlfriend Indira pada saat itu, all she wanted me was just to text her how I feel. My mother, all she wanted was for me to stop drinking. Karena ya, that's historically we all drank and so on. My brother had his friends to have fun with. Nggak selalu gue gitu. So, ini balik lagi menjadi seorang laki-laki. Terkadang kita merasa bahwa kita harus menjadi superhero di segala aspek. Yang padahal nggak ada yang minta bantuan loh.
Yeah, it's all
in your head.
In your head that I have to be tough. I have to be strong.
You have to be a Superman. Kayak
Superman.
Bro, you're not.
But what do you think the ideas from the women thing yang tadi aku bilang itu loh, kalau ya men harus bisa semuanya dong.
Untungnya I've never been in that position.
Okay.
Punya perempuan yang minta untuk laki-laki bisa semuanya.
Okay.
Tapi gue tuh merasa perempuan malah Superman. Karena they don't say a lot, but they can do anything. You know what I mean? Gak banyak ngeluh gitu, tapi they get the shit done. I say this because I have references in my mother, my sister, and my wife.
So
gitu.
single parents, right?
Yeah, single parent. My mother. Cuman nggak tahu, kayak they just get shit done without helping. My wife gitu, sesimpel keran bocor gitu. Gue pulang dari kantor tiba-tiba udah selesai aja, kayak lu juga bisa jadi mandor, kayak gue juga bingung kayak lu bisa jadi kuli juga, kayak gue bingung, kayak she can do everything gitu. But yeah, that's I think nggak pernah merasa bahwa dituntut untuk bisa segalanya sih. It's all in my head.
Alright. Then talking about single parents, gitu ya. Kan I also raised by single parents, and then you're also raised by single parents. Ada missing part nggak? Kadang-kadang orang selalu bilang kan kalau keluarganya nggak komplit, gitu ya. Nggak dapat figure. What's point of view?
My point of view is, I spoke to Burani about this. Brilliant woman.
Yeah, she's.
Dia bilang tidak ada yang namanya broken home. Dia bilang adanya yang namanya. Can I run to my notebook?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like I know this. So, she actually told me bahwa keluarga itu bukan broken home, tapi hanya ada dua tipe, yaitu functional and dysfunctional family.
Okay.
So how do you define functional family gitu? Jadi ternyata bukan sebuah perpisahan yang bisa bikin keluarga itu ya rusak gitu. Tapi keluarga itu rusak atau disfungsional ketika tidak mengajarkan 4 pilar. This is what I know from Burani gitu. Dan ini mendefinisikan keluarga yang fungsional. Yaitu memberikan edukasi. Yang pertama, edukasi bukan hanya funding untuk sekolah, tapi ngasih tahu sebab akibat gitu. For example, jangan pulang malam-malam karena besok sekolah. Itu kan edukasi gitu, sebab akibat gitu. Yang kedua adalah afeksi. So good old hug, I love you, I miss you.
Words of affirmation.
Iya. Nah, yang ketiga adalah sosial. So, lo nggak dikekang, lo boleh berkomunikasi dengan orang lain, lo boleh berteman, and so on. Yang terakhir adalah religi atau spiritualitas gitu. It gives you comfort, setidaknya. Jadi, selama ada 4 itu dari satu figur, that's a functional family for me.
I see.
And I got it from my dad, I got it from my mom gitu. Even when my dad died, my mother still carried on to give me those 4 pillars. Jadi gue gak pernah merasa bahwa I'm different from anybody else. That's my take on single parent gitu. Karena banyak juga di luar sana yang keluarganya berpisah, tapi turns out to be baik-baik aja gitu. Ternyata ibu tirinya juga menyayangi dia dengan yang sama. On that note, I'm playing a movie on it. Gitu.
Nah, what's movie? Baru ya?
Baru. So I don't know. This is my new gig, and I'm embarrassed to say it. Cuman,
Really?
yeah,
Congratulations.
terima kasih. Kupeluk kamu selamanya namanya.
Kupeluk kamu selamanya.
Yeah, it's exactly
Tentang
that
apa?
gitu. Jadi seorang ibu yang nge-raise anaknya sendiri, berpisah dengan suaminya, tapi suaminya juga punya pasangan baru. Mereka berdua mencoba untuk nge-raise anak ini bareng-bareng. Cuman ya sebagai ibu yang merasa bahwa I can do everything gitu. I don't need you. Money's not the solution and so on gitu. Jadi tentang drama tentunya. I don't wanna spoil too much. I don't know boleh atau tidak. Cuman
Oke.
di role itu juga ada satu momen di mana seseorang sangat membutuhkan, dan especially financially ya. They run out of ways, akhirnya ke Gary tepatnya, karakter Gary. Terus she asked for money, I asked for more.
So it's a drama ini ya?
It's a drama
Baru. Oke.
Dan ya jangan lupa ditonton 30 April.
Kapan? Oh, 30 April.
30
Oke.
April.
Oh, tentang drama. Oh, interesting. Single parents ya?
Single parent, ya.
Oke.
Dan banyak banget yang nangis relate ketika kemarin kita screening ke beberapa orang, ibu-ibu terutama. Iya, dan semoga bisa menyentuh banyak hati di luar sana sih. Gitu.
Oke, can't wait to watch that.
Of course.
Nah, kalau misalnya ngomongin tadi talking about financial, terus udah gitu laki-laki as a breadwinner, ya kan? Kan banyak nih couples itu mereka nggak ngomongin financialnya, ya dari awal, oke? Like seriously, you wanna get married, but you don't talk about the hard truth about financial. Harusnya kan harus ngobrol kan,
Harus
open, harus ngobrol dulu sebelum
Iyalah.
menikah gitu. Tapi beberapa ini juga yang mereka share ke aku juga untuk perempuan dan akhirnya mereka divorce karena berasa kalau pas udah menikah ternyata tanggung jawab sebagai laki-laki nggak ada nih in terms of breadwinner dan
You
lain-lainnya.
said this in my podcast ya, bahwa rata-rata cerai itu karena finansial berarti kan?
Iya, tapi kan financial kan orang kan selalu bilang kan based on data sebenarnya perceraian itu terjadi apa? Banyak hal, selingkuh, financial. Tapi the root cause-nya is actually apa? Communication. Again, communication, right?
Tapi finansial tuh maksudnya gimana? Kan gini ya, maksudnya ibaratnya gini, lo menikahi seseorang yang tidak mampu menafkahi lo gitu. Kan lo sadar dari hari pertama.
Tapi mereka kadang mungkin nggak ngomongin. Jadi mereka berasumsi, yang banyak itu adalah mereka berasumsi berpikir kalau laki ya mungkin dia akan bertanggung jawab. Oh, dia akan jadi breadwinner, dia akan support. Yang laki-laki kadang juga berasa kalau
Beban.
dia kerja. Jadi dia punya duit gitu. Nah, ini
yang
based
gue
on
nggak
the
ngerti
story.
kalau misalnya mereka cerai, berarti kayak ibaratnya udah gue start from zero, lo start from zero gitu ibaratnya.
Maybe ya, ada macam-macam sih gitu. Cuman the ideas of mengebahas tentang financial
itu susah.
menurut kamu gimana? Di pernikahan. Kita ngomongin pernikahan.
Wajib.
Dari kapan harusnya kita ngomongin?
Oh, dari sebelum nikah lah.
Okay.
I didn't know this, cuman ternyata gramasi sebuah berlian itu adalah tanda kan bahwa I can afford you. I can afford you, your lifestyle, whatever you need gitu. So harusnya itu bukan sesuatu yang lo nabung untuk nge-impress penonton sebetulnya kan. Itu tuh untuk nge-impress pasangan lo bahwa ini tuh bare minimum yang bisa gua kasih. Laki-laki tuh terkadang tidak menyadari bare minimum itu gitu. Kayak seserahan gitu. Seserahan itu kan pertanda bahwa bukan gue sesayang ini sama lo, gue kasih semuanya. Enggak, itu kan pertanda bahwa ini tuh bare minimum yang akan lo rasain nanti ketika kita nikah nanti. Jadi kalau lo ngasih misalnya ya tas Birkin, ya berarti itu bare minimum. Kalau dia minta tiap bulan tas Birkin ya lo bisa kasih tas Birkin gitu.
Gitu ya.
Ternyata kan kalau gue menangkapnya seperti itu gitu. Kalau dia minta skincare mahal di seserahan itu, ya ini bare minimum yang lo harus rasain tiap bulannya, ya gue minta kayak gini gitu. Gue tuh mencoba untuk menyadari bahwa sebagai seseorang yang bekerja di bidang yang nggak menentukan ya, maksudnya bukan digaji setiap, ya gue digaji setiap bulan, cuman not a professional yang gue tahu abis ini gue bisa dapet bonus apa segala macam. Life really depends, for me financially, life really depends on how hard I work, seberapa niat, seberapa gue pintar mengatur gitu. itu yang gue bahas ke pasangan gue gitu. Bahwa I can work my ass off and you can afford you can do whatever you want dengan uang yang banyak ini nanti, tapi ada yang gue korbanin nih, yaitu waktu.
Komunikasi lagi.
Gue komunikasikan tuh bahwa if you really wanna go out and splurge on, let's say, bukan vacation tapi on a nice bag gitu, I can afford it, I can 100% afford it, but I need to work, let's say, lembur sampai sekian lama, project ini not enough time, so where do we meet in the middle? Terus kayak dia kayak, you know what, I don't need the bag, I need you at home. Jadi gue mentalnya aman, dia aman, so we communicate that. Itu di luar angka-angka. Jadi kita tahu what does she need, what do I need gitu. Yang kedua adalah kalau kita ngomongin angka, kita juga nge-breakdown. Gue baru ini kok mencoba hal baru. I give everything to her. Just give me a salary. Just give me kayak gue tuh nggak banyak permintaan gue gitu. Gue penting motor gue minum. Gue bisa makan apa aja gitu. Jadi kasih gue sekian, keep the rest, lo yang atur karena gue lagi pusing nih, gue lagi ngerjain yang lain gitu.
Jadi partner ya,
jadi
is a team.
Partner untuk ngejalanin rumah gitu. I have 2 amazing dogs, but it takes money for them to be amazing gitu. The amount of food they spent, kayak I just realized this, tapi they started eating quinoa.
My dog eats quinoa, you know?
Yeah, they started eating kale. Kayak I don't when the last time I ate kale, kayak I don't know gitu. Cuman as long as that keeps the family alive, kayak gue mengkomunikasikan itu sangat penting. Yang gue sadari adalah banyak juga yang tidak mengkomunikasikan ketika mereka lagi susah. Kalau lagi, if you cannot afford it, don't say that you can. Jangan overpromise gitu. I can't do this this month, maybe next month gitu. Dan nggak apa-apa loh ngomongin budget. Kayak misalnya budget aku segini, mau makan di mana gitu. Itu tuh nggak apa-apa banget, nggak gengsi menurut gue gitu. But I'm a firm believer bahwa men should provide.
I see.
Mau double job, it's not my right for her money. My money's her money, her money's her money. I'm a firm believer of that.
Okay. Gitu. So you're the kind of husband ya yang provide, terus udah gitu.
I've always provided since dating. Jadi dari zaman dulu pacaran, gue tuh selalu gue yang nge-provide. I didn't know this, tapi ternyata kalau lagi pacaran ternyata nggak harus amat gitu ternyata.
Coba yang di luaran sana buat para laki-laki, coba is there any message? Jadi kalau pacaran tuh harusnya gimana?
Gue tuh baru menyadari ini karena ada temen gue yang duitnya habis bis gitu. Karena dia tidak mengkomunikasikan tentunya. Cuman dia merasa bahwa mereka tuh happy banget menjalani hubungannya. Ketika gue tanya, lu tuh nggak, kok lu makan bagi 2 sih gitu. Gue tuh aneh banget buat gue ngelihat seorang pasangan transfer ke satu sama lain tadi makan apa tuh, menurut gue aneh gitu. And I even asked the girl, are you okay with this? Karena gue dekat sama lakinya, gue bercandain, lu brengsek banget jadi cowok. Terus dia bilang, no, as a woman, I want to feel that I can provide for myself as well. Dan ada harinya, iya gue mau dimanja, tapi ada harinya gue mau I want to step my foot and say I can afford this shit as well.
Do you think apa that because of ego and pride?
I think that's ego and pride at the end of the day. Cuman ya, apparently there's that works as well gitu. Dan lakinya bilang gitu bahwa iya gue happy juga tentunya karena gue nggak spend berdua, karena dia tahu juga bahwa gue lagi nabung untuk kita nikah nanti, yang gitu-gitu loh. Ada prioritas. Gue cuma bisa afford makan A, dia minta B, kalau B ya kita patungan, karena lo tahu setengahnya B itu gue akan ke duit si kawinan kita nanti gitu. Komunikasi lagi gitu. Itu sih. Tapi the amount of money I spent to all the girls, I don't know sih. I wish I have them back sih. No, I'm kidding.
Kalau misalnya kita ngomongin tentang strong women, perempuannya earn more than a man gitu ya. sebagian untuk para lelaki mereka nggak mau, again balik
True.
lagi karena berasa kayak perempuan, gua laki, gua harus di atas. Sementara kadang dari perempuan ada yang mereka, gue sebenarnya iya, I earn more than you, I can maintain myself, I can hide maintenance, but I can pay my own bills gitu.
Iya.
Kadang dari perempuan mintanya ya udah just be there, you know. Itu juga ada.
True, I heard about that.
Okay.
I just recently heard about that gitu. Ada ya perempuan yang lo hadir aja gitu. Gua nggak butuh apa-apa gitu.
Ada.
Ada ya?
Ada juga yang begitu karena in my work itu kan macam-macam ya.
Iya, iya, iya.
Orangnya perempuannya, apalagi mereka yang strong women begitu gitu. Nah, menurut kamu nih
Gue
buat para laki-laki nih.
gue bilang gitu tadi bukan untuk mengucilkan laki-laki
Iya.
bahwa mereka harus diem aja di rumah gitu. Gue punya teman really good friend. He's one of my best friend. His name is Farid. Farid is a bapak rumah tangga.
Okay.
He's at home. He works harder than me. He knows how to get shit done. Gue bukan masalah soal let's say plafon rusak, cara benerinnya gimana. Enggak, itu dia udah pasti tahu. Tapi as a man, cara dia ngomong, cara dia nge-treat sesuatu, he's like my fucking idol, man. Kayak lembutnya, baiknya, cara bisa memberikan solusi, being vulnerable, being there for his son, kayak such an idol. Kenapa? Karena istrinya dokter. Karena waktu gitu. Jadi for me kadang tuh gue setuju bahwa bukan nggak aib kok seorang perempuan tuh punya penghasilan lebih gitu. Yang aib itu ketika perempuan udah penghasilan lebih tapi attitude lo brengsek. Itu yang menurut gue lebih
Jadi
udah
nginjak-nginjak
yang
gitu.
menurut gue adalah it doesn't matter about who earns more. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how with that money gimana cara mengkomunikasikan itu semua bisa jalan dengan baik dan benar. Dan jauh lebih penting lagi adalah bahwa attitude kalian tuh ya bagus gitu, nggak you don't harm other people gitu, you just be a good person gitu. Itu that's what matters for me. Ada kasus juga di mana perempuan menghasilkan lebih, nah laki-lakinya juga tentunya tidak, misalnya ada lagi terpuruk tidak kerja and so on gitu. Ada pride yang tergores yang tadi lo bilang. Tapi yang paling disayangkan adalah tidak mengkomunikasikan itu bukan ke orang lain tapi ke istrinya. Kan lo nggak mungkin bilang ke istri lo turunin gaji lo dong, tapi itu kan nggak mungkin gitu. Just being able to say bahwa hey, can you cover the electricity bill this month gitu, I'll repay you one day gitu atau apa gitu. Itu kan nice to hear for the woman. It's nice to let it all out. Atau ya komunikasi sih balik lagi.
Balik lagi kita ngomonginnya komunikasi ya dari tadi ya.
Iya.
Dan sama kayak misalnya ngomongin tentang, kalau kita ngomongin banyak lagi juga nih yang dengar, ini sebenarnya cowok-cowok ini beneran pengen marriage atau enggak sih?
Oh, that's interesting.
Ya.
Iya.
Itu sering banget, atau dating misalnya gitu. Ini cowok-cowok kenapa sekarang tuh susah banget ya untuk dating, kayak are they really available or memang mau serius atau enggak, mau enggak gitu.
Gue tuh bersyukur banget berpasangan selama 12 tahun jadi nggak pernah terjun di terminologi apa sih open relationships lah and
open
everything.
marriage,
I'm not against it. Cuman kayak I'm a very conventional person. I get married. I'm gonna grow up with you. We're gonna die together. We're gonna live in a farm. Kayak I'm conventional like that gitu. I'm happy to be with that. Kalau ngomongin pernikahan, ada satu hal yang ada di otak gue dari dulu. I never wanted to get married.
Before?
Never.
Okay.
Never crossed my mind.
Okay.
My age was, I think, 17 or 18. I was having a cigarette and a martini with my father by the beach di Bali, because we used to live in Bali. It was something like this. And I asked him, Dad, what's your advice to me until I'm your age? He was 60. He said, work hard in your 20s. Work even harder in your 30s. Date all the girls in your 40s. relax in the 50s so you can date more girls in the 60s. That stick to me. That stick to me.
Okay.
At that age, I was in my greatest form of my body. I surfed everywhere. I had a dog with me all the time, and you know what those dogs do when you see a girl in Bali. All those Mexicans, they go, "Oh, beautiful dogs." I'm like, "Yeah, you're beautiful as well." Yeah, yeah. So that was my life in my teens, gitu. So then I met my uncle, which is in the UK as well. Sat down with him. I had the same cigarette. It was a whiskey this time. I was with him. And I said to him, your brother gave me an advice. He said, work hard in your 20s, work even harder in your 30s, date in your 40s, relax in the 50s so you can date even more in the 60s. And he said to me, his brother, my uncle said to me, that's why your father is a very unhappy person.
No.
I was like, fuck, you're right. I don't want to be
unhappy.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be old and unhappy.
I see.
Like if I follow that path, gitu, I'd be unhappy. He's right. So then I met Indira. I was like, I'm gonna be with you for the rest of my life. I was like, yeah, I think
so that changed.
I think I want to be in a very conventional relationship yang, I'm with you all the way through, gitu. Dulu alasannya banyak banget. Gue jadi nggak bisa surfing. Gue jadi nggak bisa punya mimpi dari Jakarta ke Bali. Gue dulu tuh pernah kayak dari Jakarta ke Bali naik motor sendirian gitu. Kayak gue jadi nggak punya mimpi ini, travel the world apa segala macam. That's all just hallucination. I can do it with my wife now. Gitu.
Okay.
So now the biggest thing that I regret adalah I wish I got married sooner. Okay. Then I really do. I really do.
So berarti the ideas of men really want to get married, is it true, or is just the ideas?
I think it's just the ideas of men. Just they're afraid.
Okay.
Mereka takut mereka tidak bisa menjadi. They're afraid that they don't get to become a boy anymore. Gitu.
Okay.
Because the idea of being a man is scary.
What's scary?
Like you have to be able to raise a family. You can provide. You are emotionally there. That's the truth is that is scary gitu. The truth is that is difficult gitu. Itu bukan sesuatu yang mudah gitu. Tapi bukan berarti you can stick to become a boy gitu. Karena that's gonna happen whether you're gonna get married or not gitu. So might as well learn how to do it from now.
Okay.
Gitu. That's my take.
So do you think like if they're scared to get married, just find the root cause-nya tuh kenapa?
Iya,
gitu.
true.
Is that because of scare or because you don't want to get married?
Yeah.
Karena kan ya nggak apa-apa juga if you don't want to get married gitu.
True. Menurut gue yang paling penting adalah you're done with yourself juga sih. You're done with whatever you need.
Okay.
Dan menyadari bahwa lo bisa berdua seumur hidup tuh itu juga sesuatu yang berat kan. So start thinking bahwa berdua tuh bisa gak sih gue ngejalanin apa yang gue inginkan berdua gitu. Karena ya that's gonna cause another problem juga kalau misalnya nggak bisa.
Oke. Iya, tadi ngomongin tentang hal cowok jadi takut nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain lagi gitu ya karena udah jadi menikah. Berarti kan sebenarnya hidupnya jadi terkurung nih. Nggak boleh ini, nggak boleh ini, nggak boleh that kind of ideas gitu. Sementara sebenarnya bisa berpikir kalau what if ternyata malah my life is
lebih
so
seru.
much
Betul.
happier because you share your life with someone that you love.
Iya.
Right?
Ngomongin vulnerable tadi soal laki-laki tidak bercerita juga. Nggak apa-apa loh kalau misal lo ini menurut gue ini keren. Ini salah satu alasan keren. Gue nggak bisa padel hari ini. Kenapa? Gue mau ngabisin waktu sama istri gue kemarin, gue nggak sempet. Itu keren loh.
Gila, itu seksi sih.
Itu seksi
Itu
gak sih?
seksi. Bukan sesuatu yang bukan sesuatu yang gimana nggak mau di-admit kalau lu takut bini.
Iya.
Gitu.
Gue takut sama bini. Iya, gue takut. Tapi gue alasan gue bukan itu. Alasan gue adalah kemarin gue udah padel. Gue kayaknya nih harinya gue sama dia.
It's priority.
It's priorities.
Oke.
Dan lo bisa ngeluh ke bini lo kayak, iya aku harusnya begini. Tapi jangan sampai itu jadi alasan keluar juga gitu. Karena alasan utamanya ya, it's not that. Alasan utamanya ya, I wanna do nothing with my wife. Gitu itu kan gak apa-apa.
Iya, and I heard that too. Kayak kalau misalnya lo tuh juga kalau apa-apa semua izin sama your wife kan?
Iya,
izin semuanya, ini semuanya gitu ya.
Izin, menurut gue izin itu salah satu hal itu bare minimum. Kenapa? Karena gue orang yang sangat ceroboh.
Oke.
Kalau gue nggak dapet izin, gue tahu doanya akan buruk ke gue. Ada aja yang
Istri,
patah gitu.
doa istri
Doa
ya.
istri tuh ngeri banget. Jadi menurut gue, kalau udah dapet restu, go have fun.
Ya.
Tapi kalau enggak, jangan ngedumel. Tapi cari tahu kenapa dia minta kayak gitu. Yeah, she wants to spend time because last week I was away. And let that be the reason to the boys. Hey, I can't come. I want to spend time with the wife.
Okay. Interesting. Iya, itu seksi sih kalau misalnya dibilang nggak bisa karena gue mau spend time with my girlfriend, with my wife, you know?
Iya. Ya lu kalau orang bilang kayak lu bucin banget tapi sekarang emang gimana gitu. Iya kan gue tidurnya sama dia bukan sama lu gitu.
Last question.
Oke.
Kalau kita panjang nih.
Iya betul.
Any message for all the guys out there and then for women juga?
For all the guys out there. Meskipun dia bilang dia gak suka bunga, buy them flowers.
Do it.
Meskipun dia bilang, oh no, I don't like flowers gitu. It's not a reason for you to not give. When? On anniversaries, on Valentine's, on birthdays. Setidaknya 3 itu aja. For all the women, I apologize. No, for all the women, sometimes your man, especially kalau misalnya udah menikah gitu, kalau udah melihat template bahwa dia lelah apa segala macam, gue tuh suka banget. Ini bukan patriarki menurut gue. Ini adalah peran seorang perempuan di rumah dan peran laki-laki di rumah. Ini Bu Rani pernah bilang, terkadang gestur-gestur tanpa ucapan itu jauh lebih menenangkan daripada pertanyaan. Contohnya daripada, kamu kenapa kelihatan bete? Kalau lo udah nanya gitu, berarti kan lo tahu something's wrong. Sebenarnya gestur seperti bikinin teh gitu misalnya, itu terdengar patriarki, tapi itu bukan. Itu peran yang kita saling
itu bukan
bagi.
Patriarki kok.
Itu saling bagi gitu. And I remember this gesture from my mother. When my dad is tired from work, I'm gonna be in tears, tapi gue ingat satu gestur yang nyokap gue tuh gak pernah nanya how was your day atau are you stressed apa segala macam. Bokap gue duduk, dia cuman bengong. Kalau kos kakinya masih dipakai sama bokap gue, berarti dia lagi stres. Jadi otak dia nggak, dia kayak dia lagi stres. Berarti kan dia nggak mengutamakan kayak coba. My mother would take off the socks.
No.
And with a small massage gitu kayak, wow, itu without saying, itu lo ngasih tau bahwa whatever you're dealing with, I'm actually here for you.
So being thoughtful.
Be thoughtful. Itu sih mungkin.
Oh, that's deep.
Thank you for having me. I thought there was going to be more questions about sex. I was like, yeah, no.
So last question, okay. What sex mean to you?
No. No, I'm not going to answer that one.
Thank you so much.
Terima kasih. That was
Thank
fun.
you so much. It was fun. It was fun having you here.
Of course. Thank
you. Next time lagi ya. More deep.
More deeper. Okay, let's do it. Terima kasih.
Thanks, see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.